Now, everybody seems to agree that there are two dead certs for the drop. Sunderland and West Brom are surely down now, but picking a team for the third unwanted berth is proving very tricky indeed. West Ham must be favourites, still 4 points adrift, of course, but after 6 months of misery, Leeds suddenly looked like a top 6 side again.
Now Kuhl has popped up on Leeds' right, which got away from Parker and has taken on Konchesky, and has picked out Viduka. And now Smith, and Kuhl, and Leeds are ahead! Kelly. All worked in for Smith, who's gone over Rufus. It's a Leeds penalty. It is Ian Hart who scores. Smith wanted ahead of Rufus, and Viduka had a shot and scored terrifically well. Here's Parker, he's got over Radaby, and Charlton have a penalty. To give Charlton some hope. He has done just that, it's 3-1. Taking on Rufus and feeding Viduka, who scores! Renewed comfort for Leeds. Smith went over on the youngster challenge, and it is another penalty to Leeds. Viduka, 5! Taken away from Al-Khalej by Kuhl, and Kuhl's gone for goal, and Leeds have half a dozen reasons to believe that they are safe.
I think we've got 6 to go now, and that's all that concerns us, and we're going to have a right good go. All I want from the players is every time we play a game, the opposition come off and say, it's hard playing against that lot.
2 days later, it's no less embarrassing. While strikers fantasise about goal-scoring debuts, keepers simply want a safe, steady performance. No clangers. Andy Marriott has made hundreds of league appearances, but sadly, he'll now always be known as the man who didn't keep an eye on Robbie Keane. Blues avoided any further first-half punishment, and then Jeff Horsfield very nearly hauled them back into the match. The strain was showing. But it wasn't Steve Bruce's men that cracked under pressure. Instead, Gus Poyet panicked into bundling over Christophe Dugarry when he'd unexpectedly found himself as the last line of defence. It fell to Paul Devlin to level the scoreline. There were 13 minutes left to hold out for a point. They lasted 11 of them. Poyet showed he's much more at home around the opposition's box, and results elsewhere only increased the travellers' dismay.
Yeah, they've all gone against us. It's another week out the road, and I never thought it would be any different, that it would go down at the wire. And certainly my thoughts won't change now. There's 6 games to play. We're right in the thick of it, but if we keep playing like that, I'm sure we're going to be okay.
Third successive game in which Sam Allardyce fielded an all-foreign Bolton team. The result, a third successive win. Yuri Djorkaeff won a penalty off Peter Schmeichel for the game's first talking point, then gave way to JJ Okocha, the man who's taken over from the Frenchman as Bolton's top talent. The missed spot kick was the only foot JJ put wrong all day. It seemed to hurt, and from then on Okocha made it his mission to hurt City. A shift up in gear and a 1-2 with Per Fransen set up the opener for Henrik Pedersen. His was the easy part of the goal. And it was a moment from which Bolton never looked back. It was City, safe enough on 41 points, who looked like the relegation fodder. The second that sealed it squirmed under Schmeichel from Ivan Campo's head. There's something in this import business. West Ham looked the more likely leaders as the first half wore on at St Mary's. But of course, Southampton have James Beattie, And his scoring instinct is sharper than a Gordon Strachan put-down. 21 for the season now. That's an edge the Hammers lacked, as several chances went begging. When they were on target, there was still Antti Niemi to defeat. But eventually perseverance did pay off, helped by some lackadaisical defending. Jermaine Defoe stole a yard to latch onto Glenn Johnson's throw. Only a draw, but every little bit helps.
Might be a precious point, certainly is a precious, might be a priceless point, I guess, in the end for West Ham. If we consider Leeds, first of all, big win, might be the catalyst that keeps them up, Graham, but it sort of poses as many questions as it answers. Why can they not play like that before Saturday?
Well, they've had a lot of problems at Ellen Road, if you look at their results, really, and away from home. They've scored a lot of goals, even before their 6 on Saturday, so they've never had major problems travelling away from home. But like all of the teams down at the bottom, it's been the inconsistency. You stay at the bottom of the table usually because you're inconsistent.
Right.
And they've had that kind of inconsistency, the same as we have at Villa.
You just feel when those big 3 or 4 players that they still have perform, they're always likely to pull a result. It's just their inconsistency as well as the
I think
clubs
that's what happens. I mean, that's what's happened to a number of clubs. I mean, they say about West Ham having the players there, there's been a lot of inconsistency there. That's usually why you're in the bottom end of the table.
I guess, to be fair, Alan Smith's been the consistent shining light for Leeds, hasn't he? It's not him we should lay any blame.
That was the difference between the two sides, the front three, I would say. I did that game on the goal rush on Saturday, and Smith, particularly, Kuehl and Viduka, who scored a hat-trick, were superb. You know, Smith particularly playing up front. He played up front once on the terrace in his favourite position, and he had a hand in 5 of the goals.
The big 3 were magnificent, Saturday, no doubt about it. The next question has got to be, they're still so much in debt, are they going to keep them?
Yeah.
Well, if we're talking about Kuehl going to Manchester United, that was reported. I mean, a manager coming in knowing that he could still lose some of these players, you know, it's not a particularly attractive proposition.
No, well, obviously Peter Reid would not have done his job prospects any harm. Talking about victories and goals that can change the picture and change the possibility of who goes down, I just wonder how damaged Birmingham would be by that, in a way, daft but very annoying goal that Robbie Keane nicks in for Spurs at the weekend.
Well, particularly the way the game went, because Birmingham, by all accounts, were as good as Tottenham, if not better. And here, I played against Coventry when Dion Dublin scored against Shea Given, was at Newcastle. It's very similar. I don't know where Robbie Keane came from. I mean, it wasn't an attack whereby he got in the end of a cross. Everybody's run out, and then Robbie Keane has come from in the stands, I think. No one knows where he's come from, and, you know, that's just a nightmare for the goalkeeper.
See, even looking at that, there's none of the Birmingham defenders react to it. It's as if they don't see him either.
No. That's right. Nobody seems to know that he's there, obviously, particularly the keeper, but it's a nightmare for a keeper.
Generally speaking, you are going to run out. The goalkeeper gets the ball, the defenders turn their back and run out because they know he's going to clear it. So you're not really looking around to see, you know, whether there's a forward lurking behind you. The defenders don't. Goalkeepers do normally have a little look around. And maybe he looked left, and then Robbie came from the other side.
Now, talking about inspiring moments, I guess Bolton last season, Yuri Djurkaeff was the inspiring leader. This season, it seems to be not only him, but particularly JJ Okocha boys. I mean, some of the skill, and I guess the inspiration he then gives to his teammates is more inspiring.
There's a few players in the league who would actually enjoy paying money to go and watch, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And he's doing it for Bolton. Fair play to Sam. The last 7 games, I think they've won 4, drawn 2. But the skill the guy's got is unbelievable. It really is.
He has to wait a little while for him to flourish.
Yes, yes.
But now, as you can see, he's dominating proceedings and wonderful skills.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think, Matt, when you look at all the what you would call tricks at times, what you're asking for is an end product. And one of the reasons he's getting on the ball is obviously his teammates have got great belief in him, but this is sensational.
Absolutely.
He's positive, great touch, and the only way he's going to get it to the far post if he really drills that, zips it across for Pedersen, and he does.
And the difference between this season and last season, he's now playing in a team that played that type of football.
Yeah.
If he wants to play that type of football and the rest of the team aren't on his wavelength, and I think Christoph Dugarry at Birmingham is probably going through that situation. Whereas Bolton now play the type of football that suits him.
See, that's why I think Bolton always got a better chance than most of staying up, because they've got boys that will score goals.
I guess, with perhaps the exception of Jason Kumas, it's something that West Brom simply haven't got, and perhaps that's why they're now pretty much condemned. Ali, again, you saw the blood and guts from them at the weekend, but that's not going to be enough against the Borough side that have only lost once at home to Aston Villa.
Correct. I mean, this is a good goal, there's no doubt about it. Chris has got, if you just watch his foot, watch the angle of his foot, he knows exactly what he's doing there. Oh, that's a tremendous finish.
Yeah.
It really is. He's going across, and it's a difficult act because he's going to win when he's got to reverse himself and finish right across. But West Brom was the problems this season, Matt, were always going to be scoring goals.
Yeah.
Defensively, I mean, they've always been quite sound, but they're always going to score. The problem, as I say, was going to be scoring goals.
Yeah.
Janino there, different class, as I say, much like Okocha, you pay money to watch guys like that. And this was the second goal. Greening comes in, takes it well, gets a little bit of a break, but keeps it down and finishes it well.
And it's the sort of thing West Brom can't do. This is the fundamental difference between...
Well, they couldn't buy a goal, really,
No.
all season.
And Gary Mexon has said the difference between West Brom and everyone else is that West Brom's approach play, their work rate, everything's the same, but the quality in front of goal, the final pass and the final finish is what sets the top Premiership sides against the First Division sides and the lesser Premier League sides.
Yeah,
And I think it's no surprise that Middlesbrough's results have picked up with Juninho back in the side.
No,
with that
seen-
little bit of quality, he's
Yeah.
been involved in all of those 3 goals.
And to be fair, Sunderland put on a good performance at the weekend, Clive. Didn't get anything for it, and I think, as Mick McCarthy said, it's points he wants, not performances. But he's obviously got to look at next season realistically, and that wasn't a bad performance, albeit for nothing.
Mick's realistic. I think they know they're going down. There's no doubt about that. And he's looking for a response from his players. And young Sean Thornton, he's shown this fantastic technique. To beat Cudicini from that range, it really was a sensational strike. And I think that will just lift everybody. And although Sunderland will go, I think they're actually dangerous for a lot of teams now, because people would be saying they're bottom of the league, you've got to beat them. And if you don't, you might pay the price for not taking points off of Sunderland at this late stage of the season.
Yeah.
I think it was important for them, and they deserved the second goal. I was watching the game, and they could have been 2 up or 3 up, and I think they would have won the game. But being 1-0 up at the bottom of the league, Chelsea comes back to 1-1, then you can just see the confidence.
And there was a lot riding on it for Chelsea, so they get the late charge on, and they've got the quality.
That's a
And it's
fantastic
That is
goal.
some finish.
Yeah.
It has to be said, I think Jimmy's a little bit unlucky as well with his goal. Not to get that, but
Yeah,
that
that
is
should have
some
been a
finish.
Yeah, and he's always unhappy when someone else scores, but
And to be
there we
fair,
are, that's another
Carlton
story.
Cole did change the game. He came on, he
Yeah,
set
he
up the
did.
goal for Zola, and he scored the winner.
Excellent.
Matt, another young English striker.
I know, coming out of the woodwork. Thank you all. For the moment, still to come from us, stat of the day, tonight's Division 1 action, a look ahead to tomorrow night's belter at the Bernabeu, and the best of the beautiful game from the weekend.